Dipti Ketlon is with us now in studio. She's been scouring the international papers. Dipti, I guess we're going to start again with, it's on all the front pages here in France, the story of Real Madrid's win and Paris Saint-Germain's defeat.
It's more of Paris Saint-Germain's defeat, we might say. That's what everyone's focusing on. We saw in the French papers earlier that the French press were disappointed, but rather gracious in their loss. Well, the Spanish media is not so much. They're ecstatic and less than gracious. This is the front page of Marca, which is a sports paper. They say that European champions Real Madrid have given PSG a lesson in football, and in bold there, it serves them right. While another paper, Sports, says the multi-million-dollar PSG have been ridiculed, adding that their project for European domination is now not so sure. While El Mundo says Real Madrid, the champions, have eliminated the, quote, new money or nouveau riche of Europe, of course in reference to the astounding amounts of money that PSG is paying to bring players like Neymar. Finally, you have La Razón, which is a Catalan paper that says Real Madrid, the champions, take down Paris.
OK. Let's move on to other news now, and news that North Korea could be willing to discuss denuclearization with the US is obviously making the headlines, notably in South Korea.
Exactly. The Korea Times in particular, we looked at the front page there. They're looking now towards the inter-Korean summit that's been announced for late April. South Korean leader Moon Jae-in has obviously sent his special envoys to speak with Kim Jong-un yesterday, who's said he might be willing to give up nuclear weapons if the safety of his regime could be guaranteed. Well, the editors at the Korea Times really hailed this move by the North Korean leader. They hail in particular his warm welcome of South Korean officials, who are able to even visit the building that houses the North Korean leader's official quarters. They're really getting closer and closer to the North Korean leader. They say, to carry on the post-Olympic momentum of peace, we urge Kim to fully do his part in the process of denuclearization.
We have, however, seen similar moves in the past, and in the US papers, there's quite a lot of skepticism actually around this announcement.
Well, it's interesting because Vox actually was quite skeptical about the article, saying the talks might fall through because of Donald Trump. Actually, they said he might want to humiliate North Korea, which would definitely not go down well with Pyongyang, and that could be a reason. The Washington Post is generally marveling at Kim's strategy of sort of this charm offensive, trying to get South Korea on board, then making these large gestures towards the West. It's all in this optic of trying to get membership to the world community. They're looking at Kim's possible reasoning behind this sudden decision, and one reason could be that there's a project in the works now for a natural gas pipeline built by Russia running through North Korea. So the Washington Post says if these talks go well, Kim Jong-un wouldn't need nuclear weapons because he'd literally have the protection of Russia running through his country. So this could be one reason, rather cynical reason, why he's favorable to denuclearization.
Okay, interesting to hear all those various theories. Moving on, the British papers, of course, are all really aflutter with speculation of that poisoning of a former Russian spy, Sergei Skripal, and his daughter.
Well, who's behind it? That's really the question. There's a lot of speculation, of course, a lot of finger-pointing today as well at Vladimir Putin, who actually, as the Daily Telegraph says, swore revenge on this poisoned Russian spy, Sergei Skripal. He previously has said that traitors would, quote, kick the bucket. Skripal, of course, was convicted for being a spy for the British spy agency MI6, and as you said, his daughter was also injured in the poison attack, and she had previously criticized Putin as well. You can draw the dots, as you see in this cartoon from the British daily, The Times, but it's still a case of it wasn't me, at least. That's what Putin has said time and time again, denying any part of responsibility in these attacks. And you also have the Daily Express is looking now at what's become a diplomatic row between the UK and Russia. Boris Johnson has threatened that British VIPs, including Prince William, may boycott the Russian World Cup in June as a result of this attack, if Moscow has played a hand.
If they have proof that there's Russian interference. So how has the Russian press been responding to all that?
Well, it's worth mentioning that the Russian press pretty much ignored that any of this happened for much of all of Tuesday, until late Tuesday, when they sort of started to see all the criticism in the British press, and then said that the British press were basically hyping up the incident. The Moscow Times, which is a paper seen as more liberal, says it's not surprising that Moscow is being pointed or blamed for this. But in this article, the writer says it's up to the West now to ditch the old, quote-unquote, Cold War-style tactics when dealing with Moscow. We need to change the way we sanction Russia, perhaps looking, for instance, to punish Kremlin officials personally or leak information that could be embarrassing to Kremlin as a way of fighting back against these attacks.
Finally, from you, Diptyka, I believe you've also picked up on this story, sending out an SOS to the world over a century ago. It's finally been picked up.
It has been picked up, but internet users, I'm not so happy about it. Now, of course, we've learned that the world's oldest message enclosed in a gin bottle dating to 1886 was finally found on an Australian beach. The thing is, the message, which called for an experiment to track ocean currents, was not very interesting. So internet users have been coming up with their own 21st century spins on what that message could have said. One user said it could have contained a plea, I quote, of scantily clad sketches of your figure, i.e. send nudes. Somebody else wondered if it was a message from the singer Sting, while another surmised that perhaps it was an advance warning for us not to vote for Donald Trump.
You can see where I went with the Sting reference. I wonder how many more bottles will be thrown into the sea now after that. Diptyka Laurent, thanks a lot for that review of the international papers. Still to come this hour, our Focus Report looks at the divisions in the far-right National Front Party here in France. Its leader Marine Le Pen currently trying to rally support and shake up the party as it convenes for its National Congress.